Welcome to TMZ Live. So a suspect is now in custody. And according to authorities, at this point, they believe he acted alone in the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yes. The suspect is 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. And we have learned a lot about some of the communications that he had with family members that concerned family members.
And his anger toward Charlie Kirk.
Anger that he openly displayed toward Charlie Kirk. And also things that he did after the shooting that are really puzzling, which we're going to get into. His communications with his roommate about the rifle that he allegedly used to kill Charlie Kirk. It's all very puzzling.
So we're going to back up a little bit and start in high school 5 or 6 years ago, where he was a 4.0 student, aced the college entrance exams, got a $32,000 scholarship to a Utah university. He enrolled, dropped out after the first year, and things at some point around then seemed to turn bad.
I mean, that's a real red flag, the one semester and then drops out. I mean, when people do that, typically something's really wrong.
Or, you know, they're trying to discover themselves. But in his case...
Yeah, but look at what happened.
Well, he got radical. He got somehow radicalized and really radicalized against the world in which Charlie Kirk lived.
Right. And according to the authorities, he had, at some point before Charlie Kirk's arrival in Utah on the campus there of Utah Valley University, there was a dinner where he's sitting down with his family, and someone mentions that, oh, I heard Charlie Kirk's coming to town. And what we were told by authorities this morning is that he went off and just said, that guy, Charlie Kirk, is full of hate, and he is spreading hate across America, and made it very clear that how he feels about Charlie Kirk. And the word radicalized was used by a family member who spoke to investigators.
So, you know, there's something that seems to be in the culture of people who are doing things like what Tyler Robinson is now accused of doing, which is to inscribe something on a bullet casing that is designed to kill an adversary. And that happened here in a very big and revealing way.
Right. And remember, Luigi Mangione did the same thing. But some of the things that they said were on these bullet casings: "Hey, fascist," "Catch," "Bella Ciao."
Now, Bella Ciao is something that the Italian resistance would say. It was a song, actually, to fight the Nazis.
Yeah. And then another one that said, "If you read this, you're gay," LMAO. And I'm told that is part of meme culture and young people who are online all the time.
Right.
It's a phrase.
So, look, so he, and you know, we got this video late yesterday where you see him actually walking to the campus. He's 3 minutes away when this ring video was shot, and you see him limping there. It looks like
not an injury.
Yeah, that he had the rifle down one of his pant legs. And then I think so relevant that 6 minutes after the shooting, we got this video from a ring camera, and this is apparently Tyler running from the scene.
Back now in the other direction,
now
away from campus.
And you're going to see he's not going to have that limp, which means he lost the gun right around there.
And well, we now know, because they revealed where he dropped the gun, it's basically between the campus and those houses there.
So this leads us to Tyler Robinson's roommate.
Right.
And so Tyler Robinson allegedly confessed to his dad, would not turn himself in. His dad told a youth pastor. The youth pastor called police. Then the police came, they arrested him, and they interviewed his roommate.
Right. And Tyler's roommate said something to investigators about a joke. That's a quote. They said that the roommate said to them that Robinson had made a joke on Discord, on the chat platform.
And this is a little
why he described it as a joke, but this is Governor Spencer Cox explaining these messages.
Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
So this is the part that I'm still having a problem with. Like you said, doesn't sound like any kind of a joke. But the big thing is, it sounds like these messages on the surface were designed that he is somehow asking people to retrieve and then get rid of the evidence, the rifle. Right. And he's saying there's a need to get this rifle wrapped in a towel, which it was, in the bushes, which it was. So then you start thinking, was somebody else in on this? Was somebody else in on it that he was relying on to get rid of the evidence?
At this stage, the investigators say no, they do not believe that the roommate or anybody else was involved here.
But isn't it puzzling?
It's puzzling that he's sharing, that Tyler Robinson is sharing this information with someone.
And saying they're in the bushes.
There
were bushes all over the place.
Roadmap to basically find the evidence that is going to do him in. It almost sounds like he wanted to be captured at that point, but
or he was relying on somebody, because he was so vague about where bushes, that somebody knew that you're going to find a towel in certain bush and you're going to be able to find the rifle and get rid of it.
Right across the street from the campus.
It doesn't seem like a statement that would just exist by itself, right? Like, it seems like something else would have been said prior.
Right. That's exactly.
Why are you going to tell someone, just go pick up a rifle right across from the campus where they know that this murder has happened?
But we should say, we want to be really clear. They have not in any way implicated the roommate.
No,
they have said that they believe.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't
specific.
He wasn't specific, Tyler, and he sounds mentally ill to me. Maybe he just sent in.
I mean,
this guy.
Well, I don't think they've evaluated that yet.
No,
but
I mean, he just like.
I don't think we should discount the fact that he wanted. They say this. FBI profilers say this about people who commit assassinations, and they may run at first, but they know that being captured is how their message gets out, right? And
he left a message on the inscription of the cartridges, and there have been plenty of people who try to get away. So I don't know that we know that so far. Yeah. It's just odd.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Arizona. First and foremost, I want to express my condolence and prayers and thoughts to Erica and her 2 children, the rest of the Kirk family. I can't imagine what they're going through. Like, we have, whether we've agreed or disagreed with his thoughts and opinions on any matters across the board, we've followed him. He's been an influencer. So it's been really hard to watch. But there's a sliver of peace knowing that the person who has assassinated him is at least in custody. And, we'll find out more as the trial, unveils and all of that. But whether you're left or you're right, we should be able to sit down and have a beer together at the end of our differences. And there has to be some middle ground made if we're ever going to make a difference.
What she said about a trial is interesting. I was thinking about it this morning. Do we end up getting a trial? They've already said they're going to go for the death penalty. Would prosecutors accept a plea deal?
Well, remember, that was a huge issue with Brian Kohberger.
Right.
It does not feel that way in this case.
Right.
Coming up.
Well, it is official. Taylor Swift is going to be right in the middle of Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's war.
But it's getting real now.
But now she's going to be questioned under oath.
She is going to be deposed.
Be right back.
Well, it is official. Taylor Swift is going to be right in the middle. She's already been in the middle of Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's war.
But it's getting real now.
But now she's going to be questioned Under oath.
She is going to be deposed. They are in what they call the discovery phase of Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and she has been subpoenaed to sit for a deposition. And if you recall, because we did a lot of stories on this, that Taylor Swift, our sources say, is furious at Blake Lively and believes she was betrayed and set up because there was an infamous meeting between Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni at Blake and Ryan's penthouse in New York. Taylor, according to our sources, was invited by Blake to show up, not knowing that Justin Baldoni was there. And then, according to our Taylor sources, that Blake wanted to make it look like Taylor was on their side, not Justin's side.
Right. And then once the lawsuits were filed, there were text messages that came out that revealed that Blake referred to Taylor and Ryan as her dragons, there to do her bidding.
There to do her bidding and to make it feel like the deck was stacked, that when Taylor Swift is supporting one side in a creative difference discussion, that side's going to win. Right. I mean, that's really the idea.
Which is why Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, wants to grill Taylor Swift about all of this.
I have a theory about this. Well, what do you say?
Well, by the way, this is happening next month, you guys. This is right around the corner, and in the documents that we obtained, which show that Taylor's going to sit down for this deposition, it said that she had some pre-existing obligations. Remember, she has that album coming out in October. She's
October
a busy
3rd,
gal.
the album comes out.
Yep, and so she cannot sit down for the deposition before October 20th. So it's going to be later in October.
Which basically means she needs 2 weeks to work on promotion for her album, and then she'll get to the deposition.
That's it depends on what a judge says. I need to promote my album, and Jessica
probably didn't put it that way.
Right.
They just said she's not available until the 20th.
If this case is to settle, it will settle before Taylor Swift for a deposition. Because Blake, there is a lot of pressure now. Because one of the things they're going to get into is all the text messages that between Blake and Taylor, because Taylor says the only interaction I had about this movie was he seeing, or at least with Justin Baldoni, was running into him and saying, "Hey, I heard the movie's good, congrats." But if they start getting into it with her, and she starts saying under oath how she feels betrayed, that Blake was using her, that Blake was lying.
Oh, man, it's going to get so nasty. And remember, they haven't been seen, Blake and Taylor, they were so close, but they haven't been seen together.
That relationship's over.
For so long, ever since like this lawsuit got brewed up. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Taylor Swift says. But what I'm most excited for, they filmed these depositions.
Yeah, no, they're all videotaped. And
they're not ever supposed to come out.
But they always do. They always do. I mean, we've seen a million of them.
Could Blake, if Blake wanted to make a last-ditch effort to save her relationship with Taylor?
No.
If she wanted to, like you said, settle the lawsuit before Taylor has to sit for the deposition, you've spared Taylor, and maybe that's the door to repairing the relationship.
Let's go to a Taylor Swift expert. Charlie, would Taylor Swift forgive Blake Lively ever?
I'm going to say it's a no. It's a no, even though Blake's kids are the godchild to Taylor. We saw this happen with Jamie King. Taylor was also the godparent to her kids. They are not friends anymore, so Taylor knows how to cut it off and move on.
Hi, my name is Danny from Miami. I think Taylor Swift is extremely annoyed that she's got dragged into this mess. But what I find most interesting is the fact that Justin Baldoni's attorney wants Taylor to testify. That means they're not afraid of the testimony. They're hoping for it. So I don't think Blake Lively's dragon is going to be there for her defense. I'm very excited to see how.
No. The dragon may be breathing fire, though.
The dragon may be breathing fire. Okay, we're going to move on.
Yes, to the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
And a lot of people, myself included, think that Taylor Swift is going to be the person who performs the Super Bowl halftime.
I thought it until I saw this clip.
We got an expert here in LA, and that would be Usher, who himself a couple of years ago performed the halftime show. And we asked him his opinion about who will be performing the halftime show. He has a very interesting alternative aside from Taylor.
And this could be real.
So sure, I want to know, is there anyone you'd like to see for the Super Bowl halftime show?
Metallica.
By the way, it was in New York, not LA.
Metallica. So where is Metallica from?
The Bay Area.
And where is the Super Bowl going to be
The
played?
Bay Area,
And
Santa Clara.
does the NFL often pay homage to
They
people?
often try to get someone they want local flavor.
And how big is Metallica? Eric?
Pretty damn big.
How big is Metallica?
How big is Metallica?
So the Black Album, their 1991 self-titled album, is the best-selling album of the last 35 years. It is certified 20 times platinum, 30 million copies sold worldwide. It's like not even close. It's the biggest album of the last 35 years.
Not bad for the resume.
Not bad.
So, hometown, what a good idea. And by the way, for the NFL, for a halftime show, Metallica.
They've never had
They appeal
never
to
had a metal
the,
group.
like the metal rock fans and all that, but everybody likes Metallica. It's not like there's such a band that's going to put off other people. So when they do Enter Sandman, it's going to bring down the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
It's a brilliant, perfect
And it's
choice.
the perfect vibe
So
for the Super
here's the
Bowl.
question: was
Yeah.
Usher saying it because?
Well, it's on Reddit. I mean, people are talking about
Right.
this. This is a thing.
and there's a push for it now. So Jay-Z's move.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Diamond in Dallas. Now listen, Usher's halftime performance was phenomenal. I am still geeked out 9 months later. Now, Usher has earned the right to pass the baton to whomever he said should perform next. And I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea who Metallica is, but even if he should perform, Mickey Mouse should perform. What Usher says goes.
You will love
right.
Metallica if they play. We guarantee it.
Coming up.
Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in the Charlie Kirk assassination. We're trying to learn more about who this person was, what made him tick, and how he ended up committing this crime. So we are joined now by a former high school classmate.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too.
Did you just say, look at the water? I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Growing up there in Utah, only 22, so not that removed from people that he grew up with, that he went to high school with.
Right.
We're trying to learn more about who this person was, what made him tick, and how he ended up in the middle of this horrific crime, committing this crime. So we are joined now by a former high school classmate and middle school. We are not revealing his name, but
Nor showing him.
But he has agreed to speak to us, so we can try to learn some more.
So he's
welcome.
on. You're on right now, and look, we know this much. He seemed to be smart. He seemed to be a good student. He had a 4.0. Give us kind of a profile. We know that you were in class with him for years. You had seen him, not necessarily great friends, but give us your honest impressions of him the way you saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to preface, I was not great friends with this kid. I don't want to act like I knew him super well. But from my impression, I feel like I'm well observant. I would say that he was, absolutely very smart, and that was obvious. But I feel like he was just kind of one of those goofier kids. I can picture him laughing in class and having friends. He wasn't one of the kids that, was sitting alone in the corner, anything like that. I wouldn't describe him that way at all. But I would say he definitely had, or at least seemed to have, somewhat more of the personality of being very online, being very much in tune, with memes, those kind of things. I feel like that was kind of the people that surrounded him as well. I would say that's my best impression of him. I don't want to go into too much depth and make anything up because that's not what I'm going to do, but that's what I'd give you.
No, we appreciate that. Do you know anything about him being, was he a hunter? Do you know if he went to shooting ranges?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Did you ever hear anything political from him? Did he ever give you a sense of how he leaned in a very broad way?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I also feel like this is 2018. I don't think people were quite as opinionated on their side at the time, so you wouldn't just casually hear someone talking about something like that. And especially not me. I didn't see him enough or talk to him enough to really get that in depth about something. But
did he play sports? Did he have a girlfriend?
That I don't know. I don't think he played sports. Just from looking at my yearbook, he wasn't included on like any of the club pages or anything of that sort. So I wouldn't say that he did, but at least not for the high school.
We know that his father made a call when trying to convince him to turn himself in, called a youth pastor. Do you know anything about what church they attended, that the family went to?
No, I have no idea.
Did you ever hear anything about like what his goals were? I know that he got a scholarship. I mean, was there a particular, I don't know, career that he had talked about? Any sense of that?
No, I definitely didn't get an impression of anything like that. I just didn't know him well enough.
What was your reaction to the news this morning when once we heard the FBI and the governor announce the name?
Yeah.
How did that strike you after having gone to school with this person for so long?
Yeah, it was extremely shocking. I still live in that same town, and I just couldn't believe that he was in my same class, my same high school, and that I had seen him so many times before.
So it sounds like he was a kid who just kind of blended in, did not stand out in any particular way, but there were no warning signs to speak of. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like of the times that I interacted with him, I was never left with an impression one way or another, like, oh, he's extremely happy, oh, he's extremely unhappy. It was just kind of in the middle somewhere.
Well, look, we really appreciate your honesty, that you're not overstating anything. But it does paint a little bit of a picture. So thank you very much. We really appreciate the time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thanks again.
I think what's clear there is a lot changed between high school and remember, he's in high school during lockdowns, right?
Well,
during 2020,
it must have been toward the end, because he said this was 2018.
Right.
So yeah.
Coming up.
Since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we've seen scores of reactions to it. Our next guest is right in the middle of all of this.
The more that we think that the other side is all evil, the worse it gets in America. Our real problem isn't with the right or the left, it's with the extremes on both sides.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we've seen scores of reactions to it. And we've been discussing the fact that some of it has been kind of heated. And we were thinking and hoping that it would be, the temperature would come down in the wake of such a tragedy. Our next guest is right in the middle of all of this, because Cenk Uygur is the founder of Young Turks,
which is a huge platform. It leans left, but a huge national platform.
Right. And Cenk actually had something interesting to say about Charlie Kirk's death. And it was actually very, very kind. And being that his group is progressive, some people felt like he shouldn't be embracing Charlie Kirk in that way. But Cenk has a perspective on this because he has spent time talking to Charlie Kirk, debating Charlie Kirk, and he's joining us now. Cenk Uygur, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
So, Cenk, this is just so interesting to me, because this has been talked about now for a long time, about can you be friendly, cordial, can you even be friends with somebody who has political views diametrically opposed to your own? You're taking some heat for putting up, I believe you had a beer after debating Charlie Kirk, and you're taking heat from that. What do you say to the criticism?
Yeah, so Charlie and I had a couple of interviews / debates, and then he invited me to America Fest, and I went on there, and I said 3 rules there and on other shows, including the Young Turks, which is when we disagree, we fight, but we have a beer afterwards. That's the second rule. And the third rule is when we agree, we unite. And so that third one we haven't gotten to yet. I want to get there real bad. But some folks on the left did not like the idea of having a beer with Charlie Kirk or Marjorie Taylor Greene or anyone else that they found to be too obnoxious. But it's not like I don't disagree with Charlie. I disagreed with him vehemently, especially on things he talked about race. I'm from a Muslim background. Lately the things he said about Baldoni were outrageous, etc. But I would say to those on the left who are outraged by that, so what? It's America. So you don't have a right not to be offended. I'm from a Muslim background. Okay, so I'm offended by what he said. So then what do? I talk to our audience. Then I talk to Charlie Kirk, and I talk to other people. I debate. I do things in the battlefield of ideas. But the more that we hate each other, the more that people push towards violence, the worse it gets. So we have got to draw the line. Nobody should unilaterally surrender in the battlefield of ideas or politics. But the more that we think that the other side is all evil, the worse it gets in America. We have to stop that. Our real problem isn't with the right or the left; it's with the extremes on both sides.
Agreed, Cenk. We've been saying the same thing, Cenk. But I'm curious what you think of the reaction, because what you just said is, I believe, inherently true. But the reactions that I've heard have been people on the right saying, you have now woken us up, and now this is war, essentially. And a lot of people playing the scoreboard game, where they're saying, look, it's actually the left that is more violent, and it's the left that's killing people, and there's none of that uniting. That was your third rule. And
yeah.
Where do we go if that's what people want to do? If they want to play the scoreboard game, where does that leave us?
Yeah, so I'm super worried about it because right now, you're right. People are saying, okay, all right, here's all the list of violent things that the right wing did. And that list is long. Now, unfortunately, here's a list of the violent things that left wingers have done. And that has become long. And that wasn't always the case, but it is the case now. We have to acknowledge that. But is it really the people on the left or the right? No, on the Young Turks, we've been saying for now over a year. And I say over a year, and we've been around 20 years. So it's not like I didn't engage in some of this stuff. And it's not like we didn't get overheated in some of our debates and our coverage, right? But what we're saying today is this is not helpful. This is not productive. Over 70 million people voted for Kamala Harris. Over 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. They're not all extremists. They're not all shooters of Charlie Kirk. They're not all people who did the riot on January 6th and don't believe in democracy, etc. There's a giant range there, guys. And if you think that we're all on the left defined by the person who shot Charlie Kirk, or everyone on the right is defined by the most extreme MAGA guy who says, he loves alligator Alcatraz and can't wait for immigrants to be eaten by alligators, then we're all going to think that we're deeply evil. The other side is deeply evil, and we're all going to hate each other. And we're never going to be able to be united as a country. So I say to my own side, I'll start here because it's incumbent on us to start because of what just happened to Charlie, that I am not considering everyone on the right the same. I haven't done that for a while, and I'm not doing it today. And I'm not going to blame everyone on the right. It's not productive. We've got to focus on the fact that 98% of us actually agree on so many things, but we can't get there because of the two extremes that are driving people to hate us, to hate each other.
I'm not sure whether it's 98% or 90%, but it's enough. Look, I've been around a long time, and I have seen an assassination of a president. I have seen attempted assassinations on a number of presidents. I have seen civil rights assassinations, wars. I've seen a lot. This assassination feels different to me because So many of the others, you always said it's a one-off, it's a wacko, it's somebody on a fringe. I don't know whether the fringe is becoming bigger to a point where you can't call it fringe anymore. And Cenk, I gotta say, I'm concerned about civil war. This one feels different to me.
Yeah. So in parts, I agree with you, Harvey, and I'm worried that you're right that it's not the 2% that's extreme anymore, but all the way up to 10%, which is a big number for folks who are extreme in any country. And I would say it's these days, unfortunately, split evenly between the left and the right. I know both sides will say, no way, the other side is way more extreme, more violent. But all it does is get us into a perpetual cycle of arguing over who's the most extreme and who's the most violent. So I'll talk about my side, and I know I'll get flack for this too. But guys, are we really pretending that there aren't folks on our side now who hate the other side so deeply? No, they do. And what drives me crazy is that both sides are blind now. We were saying on the Young Turks that Joe Biden was too old and he couldn't run for president. He couldn't be president. And people on the left were like, no way, he's young and dynamic. And they really couldn't see how old he was and how,
Well, they called you a traitor.
Yeah. Okay. So now on the right, they really can't see that, like they say, Trump hasn't been vitriolic. Oh, come on, guys. Of course Trump's been vitriolic. Of course January 6th happened and people, and there were sick people on the right who were celebrating the guy, Paul Pelosi, getting hit in the head with a hammer. And now there are sick people on the left celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. He had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. We can't, you're right, Harvey. This feels different. This isn't just debating anymore. He's not a politician. We're now killing people for their opinions. And that is not America. If we devolve like that, we'll be a different country and a much worse country.
I think those should be the parting words for this segment, because I got to tell you, nobody could say it better. You're right.
Thank you so
Cenk.
much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Coming up.
AKA Charlie Sheen, the documentary that is now streaming on Netflix. You know that Charlie has been estranged from his daughter, Sammy. They had a very public blowout when she joined OnlyFans. Apparently, she did watch the documentary.
And it was extremely emotional over what she saw.
Be right back.
AKA Charlie Sheen, the documentary that is now streaming on Netflix. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it.
I have not. It's 2 parts. Is it 2 or 3 parts? I think it's
2 parts.
I have not seen it yet, but I have heard that it is really astounding how much he reveals about everything that he's gone through. I mean, we saw a lot. We covered a lot. We were with him seeing all the craziness. But there's so much more that apparently we don't know. And even, obviously, the public doesn't know, but even his family. You know that Charlie has been estranged from his daughter, Sammy. They had a very public blowout when she joined OnlyFans. He disagreed with that. But apparently she did watch the documentary.
And it was extremely emotional over what she saw. She did not know that Charlie Sheen said in this documentary that Sammy is the reason he got sober.
His daughters were the reason.
His daughters
were the reason that
Sammy
he got
Lola.
sober, which I find fascinating because his daughter Lola was in the documentary and talked about how hard it was for her to have a relationship with him when he wasn't sober, but how grateful she is now. So I find it weird that Sammy is just now finding out that she was the reason that he got sober watching the documentary, that they didn't have a conversation ever before, that he's never reached out to her, because she posted in April that they haven't talked in a year. So it's like, I wonder
before the estrangement.
Yeah, it's like, did she
how did it not come up?
really believe that was the reason, and then she watched this documentary and saw the pain and actually heard it?
There was a lot of contentiousness over OnlyFans.
Yes.
That was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Well, yeah, he was like, I can't believe she's doing it. But then he kind of came around her when he saw how much money she was making. And then Denise got on it. But I'm hoping that this documentary can heal their relationship. It's sad that
That he
they're
can come back together. Yeah.
Yes, because it's her dad. It's her dad. Like, you want them to be able to talk and have a loving relationship. So hopefully this helps.
Yeah, I mean, it's really. I sat down with Charlie. Gosh, this must have been going on 2 years ago, right when they were starting this documentary. Spent a couple hours with him, and he was 2 years ago just a different person from the person we covered for so many years. I mean, he was sober,
And even
he
at
was
that point,
lucid,
he was about 6 years into sobriety.
right? But he was on his game. He was on his game.
Gabriel in Maryland. I think that it's easy for folks to forget that our parents are just adults trying to figure it out, just like we are.
Right.
And it's so great to see like so much public support coming in for Sammy, which also shows that there's a lot of other people that are dealing with similar things with their parents. So glad that they have this opportunity to hopefully move forward, because a lot of people don't get that opportunity.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And if a documentary does it, so be it.
Coming up.
Kai Cenat's Mafiathon rolls on. He's streaming for 30 days straight.
Everybody is jumping on this.
He got one of the most popular people in all of show business. That would be
Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco.
And she brought Benny to the party, kind of dropping him off like a parent.
Be right back.
Kai Cenat's Mafiathon rolls on. He's streaming for 30 days straight.
Everybody is jumping on this.
Everyone is there. He got one of the most popular people in all of show business to drop in with her fiance.
Yep.
That would
Selena
be Selena Gomez
and Benny Blanco.
And she sort of brought Benny to the party, kind of dropping him off like a parent.
That's crazy. He has gotten just every. So she leaves, and
so wait, he's having a sleepover with Lil Dicky, Benny Blanco,
right? And
Kai
then
Cenat. I like Benny walks in with his pillow.
So they give Benny this fold-out bed, and he is just suffering. And so he says,
in the middle of it, he's like,
not feeling good, want to go home.
Like a kid at camp.
He couldn't. I know he couldn't last. He has had Kim Kardashian, Mariah Carey. Big Time Rush, Lotto,
I mean,
Ray J. He has had everybody on this show. It's just crazy.
It is.
It's a
quite
phenomenon.
thing. 30 days straight of streaming, and no lack of guests.
You know what this reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of? When we started, there was this thing that actors and actresses would not lower themselves to be around reality stars.
Yeah.
And it was this
the
whole
Kardashians
thing.
were labeled
persona
as that.
non grata.
Right.
Famous for doing nothing. And it all shifted. And it's shifting again now with YouTube and streaming.
And there'd be people who'd say, "What? He's not doing anything for 30 days. We're supposed to watch that?"
And
yeah.
Yes.
Millions and millions of people are watching.
Yes, we are.
Hi, it's Dorothy from Phoenix here. And when I saw Selena Gomez just casually dropping Benny off at Kai's house, like she was a soccer mom at a sleepover, it was weirdly wholesome. Honestly, she looks great. She was super sweet to Kai's sister. And I think this speaks volumes for like how important streaming is, because she took time out of the wedding chaos for all of this. Like that's surprising to me.
Right, because that's a 24/7 job. What else you guys want to talk about?
Let's get started on Charlie. This is Ebony from Long Island here. And I think it's an insane turn of events as to the new news on who actually ended up taking his life. And I think that the narrative that was pushed kind of turned on his head. And now people are kind of confused as to what they should say or where they should stand based on who he was and what he represented, and the fact that a life taken is a life taken. I think people are really trying to weigh their balance in between that right now.
Well, it is a life taken, and it should be viewed as such, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No matter what, at the end of the day, no matter what political party you belong to, violence begets violence, and that's really what it is.
That is the truth. Yep. One more.
Hi, I'm Jamie from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm here to talk about Taylor Swift being summoned to testimony with the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni stuff. I think it's pretty major that she is being called, being one of the most powerful celebrities in the world. Her time is super valuable, and I don't think that she would agree to this, or her legal team would even agree to this if she didn't have a reason. Two things are true. She has Life of a Showgirl coming out in October, and I feel like she wouldn't do this if it wasn't worth her time and the truth wasn't worth her time. So I feel like having her testimony adds credibility to the Wayfair case, and I just am really excited to watch it all unfold.
Well, let me just say a couple of things. One is, it's not Taylor's choice. She may be real powerful in show business, but right now they sent a letter to the court saying we intend to call her. She says, I'm not going to go unless I'm forced. And they can force her with a subpoena, which will be coming, and then she has to do it. And Life of a Showgirl is not an excuse not to sit for a deposition.
You don't know if the judge,
even if the judge is a Swiftie.
Coming up.
There is something different about the Charlie Kirk assassination. There's a flashpoint here, and I think it's played itself out today, last night and today in Congress.
There's no way that you can see that and not immediately think that could be my loved one.
Be right back.
You know, we talked about this earlier, that, you know, there is something different about the Charlie Kirk assassination from so many of the other violent cases where people are killed. There's a flashpoint here, and I think it's played itself out today, last night and today in Congress, because there are congressmen that are openly saying, I am afraid to hold a town hall. I need security. They've gone to Mike Johnson and asked for security. They have their kids are begging their parents who are representatives, don't run for re-election. You'll get killed.
This one is different because this is the first political violence, first assassination that has happened to such a brash public figure on the political stage in recent years, since things have been so ratcheted up. There have been other acts of political violence, but also I think the way this one happened and that everyone saw what happened, it is incredibly jarring.
You're so right.
Not just for America, but as you said, for the people who are running and really for their family members who say, there's no way that you can see that and not immediately think that could be my loved one.
It is not alarmist to feel that way. It is not alarmist. It is
natural,
real.
human.
And it really does get to the point that we've been talking about for a long time, which is where this country is going, and that if you have people afraid to run for office, afraid to interact with their constituents for good reason.
Rightfully afraid.
And where is our democracy? What is left?
You lose democracy when you cannot actually
interact,
do the most democratic thing, which is
interact with your
have candidates that you have free elections for. Without those two things, you don't have democracy anymore.
We have gotten to a point where it is just dangerous to go out. And, you know, it used to be, there's a term, agoraphobia, which is a fear of going out. It's not a disease anymore, it's a reality.
Yeah, it really is.